Hey guys, very quickly before we even move anywhere, first and foremost, if you are preparing for Jamb or for your Waec or any exam, right, and you want to learn stomach, you better pay attention to this class. It's very important. In digestive system, one of the major areas is stomach that we don't play with, right, because of the abundance of questions that we have there. And this is our lesson number 9, stomach, lesson 9 inside digestive system alone. Okay, what is it about stomach that we should know very, very quickly? First is the definition. I like you to know this, very simple. That the stomach is a thick-walled. So first, the walls of the stomach, are they thin or they are thick? It is thick. So the stomach is a thick-walled, large muscular sac. So we know that stomach is a sac. Is it muscular? It is not muscular. It is muscular. It is thick-walled, right? Where is it located? It is located in the left portion of the abdominal cavity, just below the diaphragm. So there are a lot of things I will dissect here for you very quickly. First, what's the shape of stomach? If they ask you in any exam, the stomach is J-shaped. So it is J-shaped. Again, what's the shape of the stomach? The stomach is what? J-shaped. So the stomach is a J-shaped, thick-walled, large muscular sac. Where is it located? Located in the left portion of the abdominal cavity. Is the stomach in the right portion or in the left portion? It is in the left portion of the abdominal cavity, just below the diaphragm. For the last time, what is stomach? Stomach is a J-shaped, thick-walled, large muscular sac. Where is it located? In the left portion of the abdominal cavity, below the diaphragm. Come, let me show you something. First, this guy here is your stomach, right? Beautiful. What is this guy? This guy is your esophagus. What is this guy? This is the first portion of the small intestine, and that is the duodenum. So before we even go deep into all of these things, let me show you some things. First, in this guy's body, identify some major parts for me. Number 1 here is the trachea. What is it called? Trachea. Number 2, these guys are the lungs, the right lungs and the left lung. So this is the left lungs, right? Left lungs, and these are the what? This is the right lung. So we have the left lung and the right lung, so that you will know exactly where I'm going to now. You see, this guy here, this dome-shaped muscular structure that we see there, that's called the diaphragm. What is it called? It is called the diaphragm. So this guy here is the diaphragm. Follow me, yo. If that's the diaphragm, this here is the heart. So you see that I'm picking out those regions of the body for you. That's the heart. If that's the heart, now underneath the diaphragm is the liver. So here is the liver that we have there. That's the liver. Underneath, just directly underneath the diaphragm, on the right side, more to the right, that's where you have the liver. To the left now is the stomach. Here is the stomach. So you are seeing it, and that's the stomach. Now, look at this one small eating structure here. That's the spleen. That's the spleen. When we move, as we move, right, in circulatory system, when we talk about lymphatic tissues there, I'll treat the spleen and then touch some important things and look at the exam questions for you. Now, this guy here is the appendix. Here is the appendix, right? Somebody suffering from appendicitis said, you're not going to carry out appendicectomy to remove the appendix, right? That's the appendix there. Here is the cecum. This guy's what we call the cecum, right? Here, like this that you see now, this is the what? The large intestine. And then as we move, I'll teach you the different parts of the large intestine. Here's the large intestine. Here is the what? The small intestine. So this old guy, that's the small intestine. Aside the small intestine, we have the large intestine. Here is the what? The rectum. From the rectum, where's the food going to end into? It's going to be excreted or eliminated through the what? Through the way anus. That's the anus there. Very easy. So now you can see where the stomach is. This is the stomach. Is the stomach to the right or to the left? It is to the left. Stomach is a J-shaped muscular structure. It is thick-walled, right? To the left part of the what? Abdominal cavity. Can I talk to you? Follow me. Now, if you look at the trunk, the human trunk, right? The trunk, we can divide it into 2 cavities. Number 1 is called the thoracic cavity, and number 2 is called the abdominal cavity. 1 to go. What are the 2 parts of the trunk? The thoracic cavity, the thorax, right? And then the abdomen form the abdominal cavity. What separates the thoracic cavity from the abdominal cavity is a dome-shaped muscular structure that is called the diaphragm. So what is it called? It is called the diaphragm. In other words, we can say the lungs, the left lung and the right lungs, the two of them, they sit on top of the what? The diaphragm. Yes. In fact, their heart is making contact with the diaphragm. Yes. Right? So what separates the thoracic cavity? You know the lungs and the heart, where are they? Is it thoracic cavity or abdominal cavity? Thoracic cavity. But the liver, the stomach, where are they? They are in the abdominal cavity. Your small intestine, large intestine, where are they? Abdominal cavity. Shey pure. Beautiful. If you get this again for the last time, where is the stomach? The stomach is in the left part of the abdominal cavity. So if this is the abdominal cavity, on the left part of it, that's where we have the stomach. On the right side here like this is where we have the what? The liver. Does it make sense? Easy. If you get that very quickly with me, what is the structure of the stomach? This is where the class starts from now. In the structure of the stomach, I'm going to be looking at it under different headings. You better pay attention. Number one structure we're going to look at is the muscular walls of the stomach. Oh yes. Where is the muscular wall? You can see that these are the muscles, right? This part here, they are the muscles. In that muscles here, they are divided into 3 parts. Only you can see them with your 2 eyes. This is the first part. This is the second part. This is the third part. If you shine your eyes and you look at the orientation of these 3 muscles, they are different from each other. The first one, now, how are they oriented? They are running down like this. The first part, they are running down like this. More like what? Longitudinal. So we have longitudinal muscle. Longitudinal. So in the muscles of the stomach, number one are called what? The longitudinal muscle. Number 2 muscles, look at the orientation. They are now running more like this, right? What is that? That is circular. They are running in circular format. So number 2, we have what is called the circular muscles of the stomach. And then number 3, if you watch it, how are they running? These guys are now running in a unique, special way. They are now running this way. Are you seeing it now? They are running this way. What do you call that? That is oblique. What is it called? Oblique. Oblique. Oblique, not oblique. Oblique. Give me the 3 muscles, right? Or the 3 layers of the muscles that make up the stomach. Number 1 is called the longitudinal muscles. Number 2 is called the circular muscles. Number 3 is called the what? The oblique muscles. In the esophagus, there are 2, the longitudinal and the circular muscles of the esophagus. But when you come down to the stomach, how many are there? There are 3. The longitudinal, the circular, and the oblique muscles. I beg you, don't forget these things. Okay, we'll move the rock. Look at this very quickly. We can say that the muscles of the stomach, right, is composed of how many layers? 3 layers. What are the 3 layers? Number 1, the ones that run longitudinally. So these guys run longitudinally. Number 2 are the ones that run circularly. These guys, they run circularly. And then number 3 are the ones that run how? Obliquely. These guys, number 3, they run how? Obliquely. Does it make sense? If you get this very quickly with me, that means you have done well. What's the aim of all these muscles running in that direction? It's very simple. The aim of that muscle, right, is for contraction to take place in various directions. And when contraction of the stomach is taking place, right, that contraction, right, of the stomach that is taking place in various directions can be in the form of twisting. It can be in the form of squeezing. It can be in the form of churning. But listen carefully, if they give you an exam question, right? The contraction of the stomach, that process, what do we call it? It is called churning. That movement, majorly, what do we call it? We refer to it as what? Churning. But it's not only churning that is taking place there. Twisting is taking place. Squeezing is taking place. Churning is taking place, right? Why does these 3 things need to take place? The 3 of them need to take place so that there will be breakdown of your large food particles. You carry a big eba, you swallow an apple, you swallow an. They need to be broken down into smaller particles. These smaller particles will aid easy digestion by the enzymes that the stomach is going to release. Does it make sense? Okay, the 3 muscles we have, what are they? They are the number 1, longitudinal muscles, the circular muscles, and the oblique muscles. All these 3 things we carry out: twisting, squeezing, and churning, right? What is the aim of this? So as to break down large food particles into smaller ones that are easier for digestion by the enzymes that are being released by the word stomach. Does it make sense? You get this very quickly, Winnie. Number 2 thing they want us to know is called sphincters. What are they called? Sphincters. Pay attention. What are the sphincters of the stomach? Before we go, first, I'd like you to remember esophagus. Now, as food is coming down from the pharynx, it is going to pass through the what? Esophagus, right? This is the esophagus, number 1. Aside the esophagus, from the stomach, if the food is going to the small intestine, it will come and pass through this side, right? What do we call that? Number 2, duodenum. So the entrance into the stomach is coming from the esophagus. The exit out of the stomach will go through the what? The duodenum. Adi? Okay. Now, the stomach itself, there are 3 major areas I want to give you about the stomach. How many major areas? 3. But let me just say 4 areas of the stomach you should pay attention to. Number 1 is called the cardia. This region here is called the cardia. What is it called? Cardia. Number 2 is called the pylorus. What is it called? Pylorus. So the cardia is the first part we are going to pay attention to. I. The pylorus is the second part. I that we'll pay attention to. So we have the cardia and the pylorus. So from the esophagus, right? Which parts of the stomach do you get to as you are coming down from the esophagus? You get to the cardia first. The last part is the what? The pylorus. This is it. Pylorus is the name. Pylorus. Pylorus. Now, there are 2 other areas you must know. The third one is the body of the stomach. The body of the stomach. And close to the pylorus is another area, number 4, which is called the pyloric antrum. What is it called? Pyloric antrum. But 2 major areas you pay attention to. Number 1 is the cardia. Number 2 is the what? The pylorus. The cardia and the pylorus. So, if you are paying attention to the cardia and the pylorus, now listen carefully. On this cardia, there is more like a ring-like structure that is inside. I will show you. That ring-like structure controls what enters the stomach. And that ring-like structure there is a sphincter. And that sphincter is called the cardiac sphincter. What is it called? The cardiac sphincter. That's number 1 sphincter we have. Number 2 sphincter is around that pylorus. Pylorus, that's the exit here. This is where we have the cardiac sphincter around this region. This is where we have the second sphincter there. On that pylorus, right, there is another sphincter inside it. That sphincter is called the pyloric sphincter. Pyloric sphincter. You know, the problem of some people is that they don't listen. The part of the stomach itself is cardia, not cardiac. The sphincter is called cardiac sphincter. This is the pylorus, but the sphincter is called pyloric sphincter. Does it make sense? Okay, more they go. Look at this very quickly. If this is the stomach, point out where the cardiac sphincter will be.
Hold on a bit. The complete series of classes, right, as far as your syllabus is concerned regarding your Jamb And Waec, everything has been covered in details for you in the LearnLift app. And guess what? The sweet part is that you have access to your CBT, right? You have access to your video lessons, you have access to your notes, you have access to your past questions. Everything from the beginning to the end is directly in the LearnLift app for you. So all you have to do is just mark down to Play Store or App Store and download the LearnLift app where you follow all your classes from the beginning to the end. A quick one before we move. Let's get back to class. Enjoy.
Point out where the pyloric sphincter is going to be for me. Yeah, like this, right? That is where we have the what? The cardiac sphincter. Abi, beautiful. The cardiac sphincter. This here, that's where we're going to have the what? The pyloric sphincter. Beautiful. That means the cardiac sphincter is going to originate from which part? Is going to originate from what is called the what? The cardia. Abi, beautiful. The pyloric sphincter will originate from which part? Where we call your what? Your pylorus. That's where the pyloric sphincter will originate from. Does it make sense? Okay, let's go. So the sphincters that we have, very quickly, there are 2. What is number 1? Number 1 is called the cardiac sphincter. The cardiac sphincter guides the entrance of the stomach. It guides it. In other words, around here, That's why we have the cardiac sphincter. What guides the entrance of the stomach? Anything that is coming from the esophagus, we must pass through the where? The cardiac sphincter first. Number 2 is called the pyloric sphincter. The pyloric sphincter controls the exit of the stomach. So anything that is leaving the stomach coming towards the where? The duodenum. So here is the duodenum. Anything that must go to the duodenum must first and foremost come and pass through this sphincter. So you can see it broadly now. That sphincter, what do we call it? It is called the pyloric sphincter. Does it make sense? What guides the entrance to the stomach? Cardiac sphincter. The exit is what? Pyloric sphincter. Does it make sense? Again, very, very quickly, look at this diagram. From this diagram, what can you see? Number 1, you can see the esophagus, right? The 2 sphincters, the cardiac sphincter and the pyloric sphincter. Around here, what do we call this area? Cardia. What do we call this area? Pylorus, right? So here is called the what? The body of the stomach, right? Beautiful. There is a big curvature around this region, right? You see this side here, there's like a curvature. It's kind of like curve, right? It is bigger in size than the other curvature that we have around this region, right? This bigger curvature here is called the greater curvature. What is it called? The greater curvature. What about this other side here? It is called the lesser curvature. You must know these things, so you are a medical student in the making. The greater curvature, the lesser curvature. And of course, this here is the what? The duodenum. Does it make sense? Beautiful, very easy, simple, and direct, and you're out of there. If you get that very fast, wire me this Jamb pass question. Jamb 1997 question 12. The question says, the part of the stomach nearer the gullet is called, you see, 1997 was when they asked it. The part of the stomach nearer the gullet, what is it called? Is it the one we call the epiglottis, or it is the one we call your cardiac sphincter, or the one we call your duodenum, or you call it your pyloric sphincter? What do you call it? The part of the stomach nearer the gullet. Of course, what is it? The cardiac sphincter. The one that is close to the duodenum, what do we call it? Pyloric sphincter. You know your epiglottis. Epiglottis will guide the entrance into the where? The larynx. Because from that larynx now, you are going into the where? You are going into what we call the trachea. What about duodenum? Duodenum is the first part of the what? The small intestine. So what's the answer? Cardiac sphincter. Option what? B become the answer. You are very simple thing. You're out of there. Very easy and direct. Does it make sense? If you get this very quickly with me, you are very, very sure, bro. The third thing we're going to look at is called the gastric mucosa. What is it called? The gastric mucosa. The first question is, please, what is mucosa? When you hear the word mucosa, please, from today, I want you to know it down. Mucosa. Mucosa. What is mucosa? Mucosa is more like the inner lining of any tissue, any organ or tissue, whatever it is, or canal, or lacuna, or a conduit. The inner lining is what we call your mucosa. So, the mucosa that belongs to the stomach, anything stomach is gastric. So the mucosa that belongs to the stomach, what do we call it? It is called the gastric mucosa. So when you hear gastric mucosa, it is the inner lining of the stomach that we call the what? Gastric mucosa. Everybody wants to go. The inner lining of the stomach, what do you call it? Gastric mucosa. It's just like, for example, you carry your lip, right? Inside of your lip, your cheek, you are touching the inside. What you are touching, there are the mucosas around your what? Your buccal cavity. Does it make sense? The same thing, if they open somebody's stomach, right? We dissect somebody's stomach, you open the stomach, what do you see? The inner surface that you are going to be seeing is what we call the what? The gastric mucosa. Can we look at it well? Okay, beautiful. First and foremost, I'd like you to understand that the gastric mucosa, right? We have said that it is the inner membrane of the stomach, but gastric mucosa is a thick, so it is thick, it is not thin, it is a thick and delicate folded inner membrane embedded with gastric glands. Let's not rush. We'll talk about gastric glands later, but for now, let's dwell on gastric mucosa. What is gastric mucosa? Gastric mucosa is a thick, delicate, and folded inner membrane embedded with what? Gastric glands. For the last time, what is gastric mucosa? You can just tell us that the inner lining of the stomach is what? Gastric mucosa. How is it like? It is thick, it is delicate, it is folded, right? And it is the inner membrane, right, of the stomach itself that is filled with a lot of what? Your gastric glands. Very easy and direct. If you get that very fast with me, I like you not to forget this. There are 3 types of glands that are present inside the stomach. Oh, you're too here. Say, I go hear word. Come on, I go hear word. How many types of glands are present in the stomach? There are 3 of them. What are the 3 of them? Number 1 is called enzyme secreting glands. What is it called? Enzyme secreting glands. Come on, enzyme secreting glands. Come on, enzyme secreting glands. Number 1. Number 2 is called your mucus secreting glands. What is it called? Mucus secreting gland. Come on, mucus secreting gland. What do we have? Enzyme secreting glands, mucus secreting glands, and number 3 is called acid secreting glands. What's the acronym? EMA. EMA, sa EMA, EMA. That's what you have there. So, what are the 3 types of glands that are present in the stomach? Enzyme secreting glands, your mucus secreting glands, your acid secreting glands. These are the 3 of them. Are you ready? Let's go. We'll treat them one after the other because these are the major things with the exam questions. The first is the enzyme secreting glands.
Now that you have created your account, right, for you to start learning, what do? Okay, you can see that your use of English is there, mathematics is there, biology is there, physics is there, chemistry is there. Your classes are organized, they are all there for you, right? What do? Okay, I want to start learning biology. So click on the biology, immediately you click on it, living organisms, that's chapter 1, right? Oh yes, that's strictly to your Jamb syllabus. And what happened? Let's say, for example, you want to watch your class on cell and probably cell structure, right? What happens is that you click on it. Immediately you click on it, you see all the classes will display history of cell, types of cells, cell organelles, and all of that. Okay, sir, I want to watch history of cells. You click on the history of cell immediately. Your class will start playing for you. It's easy and it will start playing for you easy and direct. And what happened? You can even choose to make it full screen. Right? Make it full screen. What happens? You are started learning and you are enjoying your classes. In fact, you may choose to say, okay, I want to download my classes. In fact, you can fast forward, you can take it backwards, you can pause, you can rewind, anyone you want to do. You can even say, oh, sir, I want to download my classes, right? Probably you use Nightsub just to click on download buttons. When you click on download button, you see the download. Before you know what will happen, the download will start loading. As it starts loading, you can see it is moving. And then it's enter your phone. Are you getting it now? You can now go and start watching your downloaded classes. You can download as many classes as possible as you want to download. Now, you can even choose to say, okay, sir, that's the notes underneath it. It's the same thing for everything. I want to download my notes. All you have to do is click on the download for your notes. Before you know what is happening, it has entered your phone. You may choose to come to the notes, right? Under the characteristics of living things, let me open the notes and read the notes and go through the past questions. So you see, well organized and structured notes, direct to the points, focusing on your syllabus for you. There are past questions for you in abundance. You see, you have your past questions here. You can choose to say, okay, I want to zoom it in, right? And then the same thing for all subjects. And you are following. The answers are there. Number 1 answer is B. Why is the answer B? It is explained for you in details. Every singular thing. And then you are following your classes. You are done with that. You come to the next. You see your notes. Everything structured and organized to the core. In fact, at the end of the day, there is a blow kiss for you. You have done well. Get out. You too much. Everything is structured and organized for you in the app. Right? And you can now choose to say, okay, sir, what about chemistry classes or physics classes? You can do same. Use of English, all of them, they are there. When you click on your chemistry classes, what happens? Separation of mixtures and purification. All of them are in line with your Jamb syllabus. Chemical combination, right? It just goes straight. You see, chapter 1 alone has 39 videos. 39, you sit yourself down, and you start learning. And you are following all of them one after the order. Does it make sense? Are you with me? When you want to access your download classes, all you have to do is just scroll down right on your home interface. Go to access your download classes. Start now. You start. You see them, right? In fact, you may even choose to go and practice CBT, right, or past question. Let's say, for example, I go to my CBT, the one that has to do with my my biology. Then I want to take all the questions on that cell, probably your WAEC cell or the Jamb question on it, right? Just to click on it. So you see, all the questions are there. There are 40 questions there for you already. All of them on that cell. What happened? Which of the following cell inclusion can destroy other cell organelles? Probably you now say, oh, Sam, answer is lysosome. You choose it, you go to next like that. At the end of the day, you see your answer, see your corrections. All of these things are in the LearnLift app directly for you. Are you with me? So as far as your Jamb 2025 is concerned, my dear, you don't have an excuse whatsoever to have anything less than 300. Are you with me? All your classes are available for you. All you have to do, start learning now.
Download the LearnLift app now.
What is so special about the enzyme secreting glands? First and foremost, the enzyme secreting glands, what does it contain? It contains digestive enzymes. What are the digestive enzymes? There are 3 of them. Number 1 is called the pepsinogen. Number 2 is called the renin. And number 3 is called the gastric lipase. So in your EMA, right? Enzyme secreting gland contain how many things there? 3 things very quickly. Number 1 is called the pepsinogen. Number 2 is called the renin. Number 3 is called the gastric lipase. The pepsinogen, the renin, and the gastric lipase. Pepsinogen, the renin, and the gastric lipase. Before we even go into your mucus secreting gland and the acid secreting gland, let's dwell on the first, pepsinogen. You are playing with your life if you attend any university post-UTME or you want to go to 100 level, you want to just write your JAMB and go and you don't know this thing, man, and you want to go into medical school, you whine yourself. Come out, you whine yourself. That means the person is not even qualified to even sit and write JAMB, right? If you don't know it to the core. And sir, I learn, but I do forget. Sit down. Gather knowledge is very important. Are you with me? Not that you get to university, other people are talking and you are quiet. You are now being timid. So I don't like talking in public. Baba, you don't know one. That's why if you know it, you will talk in public. Let's go. What is the function of your pepsinogen? When you hear the word pepsinogen, first, the stomach, right, cannot digest food with pepsinogen directly. No. Pepsinogen is corrosive on its own. It needs to be converted into something. So pepsinogen will be converted first into pepsin by dilute hydrochloric acid. Calm down. Can pepsinogen on its own go and start acting on food in the stomach? No. Pepsinogen first, number 1, is converted into pepsin by your what? Dilute hydrochloric acid. So it's very okay to say anytime dilute HCl come in contact with pepsinogen, then what will be formed? Pepsin will be formed. What is the function of your pepsin now? That pepsin that is formed, right? What will it do? It will go and act on protein. P for pepsin, P for protein. So pepsin will go and act on proteins and convert them into what is called your peptones. What is the function of pepsinogen? Pepsinogen itself cannot act on food substances, right? Pepsinogen is converted first into your pepsin by the action of dilute hydrochloric acid. So we need dilute HCl, right, in the stomach to convert your pepsinogen into pepsin. What will pepsin now do? Pepsin will go and act on proteins and convert them into what is called your peptones. Shall you say peptones if you like, eh? When we get to small intestine and I remind you of peptones and you tell me that you have forgotten it, I go nod you. Yes, now me they tell you I go nod you. What will your pepsin do? Pepsin will convert proteins into what? Peptones. So the digestion of proteins, where do they begin from? They begin from the stomach. Write it down in your notes. Write it down. Protein digestion, where does it start from? It starts from the stomach. Are you getting it now? That's number 1 thing I want you to note. So give me the enzymes that are secreted by the enzyme secreting glands. Number 1 is called pepsinogen, right? Number 2 is called renin, and number 3 is called your what? Your gastric lipase. So again, mention the 3 of them: your pepsinogen, your renin, and your what? Your gastric lipase. If you get that very quickly with me, wire me this past question that was asked, Jamb 1983, question 27. The question says, what does pepsinogen convert into in the presence of dilute HCl? That's dilute hydrochloric acid. What will pepsinogen convert into? Option A says it will be converted into pepsin. Option B say no, it is renin. C say ta, it is gastric lipase. Option D say get out, it is your casein. What is the answer? The answer is your what? Your pepsin. Option what is the correct answer? So anytime I take my pepsinogen, what will happen to pepsinogen? It needs what is called your dilute what? HCl. With the action of dilute HCl, pepsinogen is converted into pepsin. What will pepsin do? Pepsin will go further and go and act on your what? Your proteins. If your pepsin act on your proteins, what will it convert it into? It into your what? Your peptones. Your peptones. Your peptones. So these peptones now, we will continue it when we get to what? Small intestine. Better understand it to here. Sometimes you hear peptones or your polypeptide chains. I will explain when we get here. Polypeptide chains. So when you hear peptones or your polypeptide chains, they are the same thing. But in the small intestine, we'll continue it from there. Does it make sense? That's very easy and direct. Get this very quickly with me, bro. Number 2 is called renin. So we have looked at the first pepsinogen. Number 2 is called your what? Your renin. After renin, we'll go into your what? Your gastric what? Lipase. What is the function of renin? You know, a lot of us will like drinking milk, right? You take milk, and you enjoy your milk. You flex yourself, right? First, I want you to note that milk. What class of food will you say milk is? Milk is a protein, right? Beautiful. Milk is protein. Note that down. We'll talk about it. Another thing about milk is this: your normal milk, right? Like your pig milk or whatever type of milk. If you pour water into the milk, is it going to mix or it's not going to mix? It's going to mix, right? That means you can say your milk is soluble in water. Beautiful, right? Note that. First, when you hear the word renin, what will renin do? Renin coagulates what is called your carcinogen. First, what is carcinogen? Your carcinogen is your soluble milk protein. Whether they say soluble milk protein or soluble protein of milk is the same thing, right? Your normal milk now is soluble in water. That's soluble milk protein. We refer to it, right, as carcinogen. Just follow me very quickly. What will renin do? Renin will coagulate carcinogen, and it will convert it from your soluble milk protein into what is now insoluble. It's no longer soluble. That insoluble cord that the renin has converted it into is called your what? Your casein. What is it called? Your casein. Better pay attention to me. What will renin do? Renin will go and act on your carcinogen. What is your carcinogen? Carcinogen is your soluble milk protein. And renin acting on carcinogen, since it is soluble, it will convert it from soluble milk protein into an insoluble cord. That insoluble cord is called your what? Your casein, right? That casein now will now be acted upon by your what? Your pepsin. So if pepsin acts on your casein, so what we need here now is your pepsin to come and act on the casein. If pepsin is acting on casein, better pay attention. Sure, you know that it is this guy here is protein because it is coming from milk. So if your pepsin is acting on casein, what will pepsin do to it? It will convert it from your casein there, the same way your protein is converted into your peptone. Same way, when pepsin come and act on your casein, it will convert it into your what? Your peptone. At the end of the day, protein. Hey. Come. What is the function of your renin? Renin coagulates carcinogen, right? Or renin will act on your carcinogen. What is your carcinogen? Carcinogen is your soluble milk protein. Because this guy is soluble, we don't want it in the soluble format. We need it in the insoluble format. What will your carcinogen be converted into? It will be converted into an insoluble cord. That insoluble cord is what we call your what? Your casein. What will act on casein? Pepsin will act on casein, and it will convert it straight into your what? Your peptone. That's it. Very easy and direct. It's cheap. Sir, wire me the past question. Look at Jamb 1981 question 18. The question say, milk protein is hydrolyzed by hydrolysis of milk protein. What we carry it out? Option A, renin. Option B, amylase. Option C, lipase. Option D, pepsin. What is the answer? Renin is the one that has to do with your what? Your milk. Option what? A is the correct answer. I told you that your milk, of course, is your what? Your protein. Give me the biology that is involved there. Very simple. The biology there is cheap. What will happen is that first and foremost, your renin will go and act on your what? Your carcinogen, right? Beautiful. Your carcinogen, is it soluble or insoluble? It is your soluble milk protein. Because this guy is soluble, we don't want it in the soluble format. It will be converted into your what? Your casein, right? Because it is converted into casein there, is it soluble or insoluble? It is your insoluble cord, right? Now, when we go and act on the casein, your pepsin will go and act on the casein, and then it will convert it straight into your what? Your peptone. Very easy and direct, and you're out of there. These equations must be inside of you. That's how we roll, bro. If you get this very quickly with me, please wire me this past question. No time. Jamb 1979 question 34. The question is, the digestive enzyme that coagulates proteins in milk. No stress. Option A is your taline. Taline. No, now. Which one is taline? Taline is salivary amylase, right? Beautiful. Where is it? It is secreted from the web, from your saliva. Saliva is your what? Your digestive juice. We have treated those things before, right? Beautiful. Option B says your pepsin, the digestive enzyme that coagulates protein. Is it your pepsin? No, it is not pepsin. Option C says renin. Correct. Option D says your trypsin. It's not trypsin. What's the answer? The correct answer is your what? Your renin. Option what? C become the correct answer. Very easy and direct. Does it make sense? Easy. You get this very quickly with me. Please and please. The third is called the what? The gastric lipase. What is the third? The gastric lipase. Give me the three of them. Number one is called your pepsinogen. I have explained everything about pepsinogen. Number two is called your what? Your renin. Number three is called your what? Your gastric lipase. What is the function of your gastric lipase? Very easy. Gastric lipase carries out hydrolysis of fats. What does it carry out? Hydrolysis of fats. And what will it convert it into? It will convert fat into fatty acids and your what? Your glycerols. So your gastric lipase will carry out hydrolysis of your what? Your fat, and convert it into what? Fatty acids and what? Glycerol. That's all. Wire me the past question. Jamb 1989 question 21. The question say, which enzyme secreted by the stomach help digest fat? Listen, there are different enzymes that we act on fat. They say the one that is secreted by the stomach that will help to digest fat into fatty acid and glycerol. Option A say your pepsin. No. Option B say your renin. Option C say gastric lipase. Option D say trypsin. What's the answer? Gastric lipase. Option C is the correct answer. So, sir, what if there is no gastric and they just say lipase? That's the answer. You choose it and you move. Because they are saying stomach, it is gastric lipase they are referring to. Does it make sense? Okay. Wire me this past question. Jamb 1981 question 24. The question says, all the following are digestive enzymes except option A say your bile, option B say your lipase, option C say your maltase, option D say your pepsin. Which ones are digestive enzymes? Listen, come with me. Your lipase is a digestive enzyme. Your maltase is a digestive enzyme. Pepsin is also a digestive enzyme. Bile is not an enzyme. Bile is the substance that is being stored right in the gallbladder. Don't worry, when we get there, we are going to explain all of these things and you will know it too because they have their own questions. So what is the answer option? What? A is the exception there. Very simple, easy and direct. Is bile an enzyme or bile is not an enzyme? Bile is never and can never and will never and shall never be an enzyme. Okay, one to go. Give me the enzyme secreted by the stomach. Number one is called your pepsinogen. Number two is called your renin. Number three is called your what? Your gastric lipase. From your EMA, you remember your EMA enzyme secreting glands, mucus secreting glands, acid secreting glands. In the enzyme secreting glands, how many are there? There are 3 of them. What are the 3 of them? Pepsinogen, your renin, and your gastric lipase. We have looked at everything about the enzyme secreting gland. Your pepsinogen, what will happen? Pepsinogen, first and foremost, cannot go and act, right, on your what? Your protein. No, what will happen? Pepsinogen need to be converted into pepsin by the action of your dilute hydrochloric acid, which is HCl, right? When it is converted into pepsin, pepsin will now go further and go and act on your proteins. It will convert your proteins into your what? Your peptones. Very easy. Or you call it your polypeptide chains. Simple. What about your renin? Your renin will go and act on your soluble milk protein, which is called your what? Your carcinogen. Your carcinogen, which is soluble milk protein, need to be converted into an insoluble cord. That insoluble cord is called your casein. What will casein do? Casein now will now be converted by your what? Your pepsin into your what? Your peptone. Very easy, and the rest, and you're out of there. What about your gastric lipase? Gastric lipase will carry out hydrolysis of fats into fatty acids and your what? Your glycerol. Easy. Hey. So we are done with enzyme secreting cells. The next is called your mucus secreting what? Glands. Can we rock it together? What is it about the mucus secreting glands? You better pay attention from here. What do they do? First and foremost, I like you to note this, that mucus secrete glands will produce mucus. What will they produce? Mucus or bolo. Though there are thick mucus around the lining of the stomach. What are the functions of the mucus? What the mucus does is that it protects the stomach's lining from acid attack. Yes, we are coming to your acid secreting glands. All those acid secreting glands will produce hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid can attack the lining of the stomach, right? If hydrochloric acid attacks the lining of the stomach, is gone. What will protect it from the action of that HCl? It is the what? The mucus secreting gland that secretes the what? The mucus. Does it make sense? Are you sure? Another thing again that can even affect the lining of the stomach is your pepsinogen. That's why pepsinogen need to be converted first into your what? Your pepsin, right? Hydrochloric acid harmful, pepsinogen harmful. If both of them combine, they will calm down. Sure, you see the point there? Beautiful. Again, your mucus secreting gland, what will they produce? They will secrete your what? Your mucus. The mucus will protect the lining of the stomach from what? Acid attack. That's number 1. Oh. Now the question is, this mucus, where are they coming from? Where? You must note this, that within the gastric mucosa, the lining of the stomach, right, there are special cells. Special. They are special because they carry out special duties. Those special cells are called goblet cells. What are they called? Goblet cells. So within the gastric mucosa are special cells. What do you call the special cells? Goblet cells. What will your goblet cells do? Goblet cells, they will secrete a slimy glycoprotein. Like all those draw, like if you cough now, you'll see how thick those cough they are. They are more like slimy, right? That is like the nature of the slimy glycoprotein that they will secrete. That slimy glycoproteins secreted by the goblet cells, what do you call them? They are called your mucin. What are they called? Mucin. So what will mucin now do? Mucin is what will go and form the layer of mucus over the stomach lining. The lining of the stomach. Shall we call it the mucosa of the stomach, right? The stomach mucosa or the gastric mucosa are special cells. Those special cells are called goblet cells. Those goblet cells will secrete slimy glycoproteins called mucin. It is that mucin that will form the layer of mucus all over the entire stomach lining. Does it make sense? If you get that very fast with me, please, what is the function of mucin without talking much? Mucin, what it does, first, mucin, right? Mucin will secrete, it will give rise to the mucus, right? So that mucus that are secreted by the mucin are the ones that will protect the stomach from the corrosive action of HCl and pepsinogen. That's why that pepsinogen need to be converted into your what? Your pepsin. Pepsin will not have any major issue, but it is the pepsinogen that is the problem. Does it make sense? If you get that very quickly with me, please answer this question for me. Jamb 2020 question 19. The question says, what is the role of mucus in the stomach? What will your mucus do in the stomach? Option A says to digest protein. No, mucus does not digest protein. Option B says to neutralize stomach acid. No, mucus does not neutralize it. Option C says to protect the stomach lining from what? HCl. That's the correct answer. And then option D say to break down fat. No, that's not true. What is the correct answer? Option what? C is the correct answer. What breaks down fat? What will break down fat? The breakdown of fat is carried out by gastric lipase. What digests protein? Of course, what will carry out protein digestion is your what? Your pepsin, right? Beautiful. And then what neutralizes stomach acid? There are different things that will neutralize stomach acid. As we get down there, it's a past question. I'll show you shortly. Please and please, if you get that, number 3 is called acid secreting glands. In your Ima, number 1 is called the enzyme secreting glands. And the enzyme secreting glands, how many are there? There are 3 of them, right? Your pepsinogen, your renin, and your gastric lipase. Why am I saying it again and again so that it will enter into you? Now, your mucus secreting glands, right, within the lining of the stomach, the one we call your gastric mucosa, there are special cells called goblet cells. Those goblet cells will give rise to mucin. Mucin is a slimy glycoprotein that will form the what? The mucus all over the lining of the stomach. Now, what about your acid secreting glands? First, I beg you, your acid secreting glands, what will they do? They will release dilute hydrochloric acid. What will they release? Dilute hydrochloric acid. Now, this is it. Dilute hydrochloric acid has 3 major functions. If you want to try yourself, forget I'm going to catch you. Dilute hydrochloric acid has how many functions? 3 functions. What are the 3 functions? Number 1, it kills bacteria. Because it is an acid, it can kill bacteria. That's number 1. Number 2, it is hydrochloric acid that will convert pepsinogen into pepsin. You know that, right? That's number 2. Number 3, it is the hydrochloric acid, right, that will stop the action of your ptyalin. Your ptyalin, the one you call your salivary amylase. The old name is called ptyalin. What do we call it? It is called your what? Your salivary what? Amylase. So what is salivary? What is the pH of your saliva? First. The pH of saliva is that it is your what? Alkaline. If your saliva is alkaline, right, we need to stop the alkalinity of the saliva by introducing an acid so as to neutralize the alkaline. So what will neutralize the alkalinity of the saliva? It is neutralized by the dilute hydrochloric acid in the stomach. Does it make sense? Give me the 3 functions of the dilute hydrochloric acid. Number 1, it kills bacteria. Number 2, it converts pepsinogen into pepsin. Number 3, it stops the action of your ptyalin. And then somebody will now come and say, sir, is it concentrated HCl? No, we did not say concentrated HCl. It is dilute hydrochloric acid. But that's why it is dilute. If you leave it like that without mucus, it will roast the wall of the stomach. I'll show you. And if you get that very quickly with me, answer this past question for me. Jamb 2012 question 17. The question says, a function of the hydrochloric acid produced in the human stomach during digestion is, what is the function? Option A, neutralize the effect of bile. No, it has nothing to do with bile. Rather, it's, if you say neutralize the effect of your saliva, is very correct, right? But bile, totally out of the way. Option B says coagulate milk protein and emulsify fats. Is not true. What coagulate milk protein is renin. What emulsify fats or break down fat, right? That's the gastric lipase. So this guy cannot be the answer. They say the function of dilute HCl. Option C says stop the action of ptyalin. What will stop the action of ptyalin? Of course, correct. C is the answer. Option D say break down food into smaller particles. It's not true. What's the answer? Option C is not the correct answer. Very easy and direct. So dilute HCl will stop the action of ptyalin. How? Ptyalin is alkaline. It will tell you stop. Stop, salivary juice. Stop your action. Stop here. And then the acidity of the stomach, we do what to neutralize it. If you get that very fast, wire me this question. Jamb 2010 question 26. The question says the part of the human gullet that has an acid content is the which part has acidic content? Option A says duodenum. Option B says ileum. Option C says colon. Option D says stomach. Which of them we have acidic content? Is it not the presence of HCl there? Acid secreting glands. That's option what? D is the correct answer. D, you out of there. Does it make sense? Okay, oh, you get that? Wire me this question. Jamb 2009 question 17. A sweet question was asked. The question said the content of the part labeled 2 is usually the content of the part labeled 2 is usually option A neutral, option B alkaline, option C acidic, option D saline. What is the correct answer? The part labeled 2, what is it? The part labeled 2 there is the stomach. So the pH of the stomach, what is it? It is acidic. Option what? C is the correct answer. You're out of there. Don't forget that the part label 1, what is it called? Liver. The part label 1 is the liver. We're going to treat all these things, all of them. The part label 3 is the gallbladder. The part label 4, what is it? It is the duodenum. And you are out of the duodenum is the first part of the word small intestine. Does it make sense? So you got this very quickly with me, bro. Please, I beg you to note this and never forget.
So when it comes to creating an account, right, this is the interface of the app that you can see. You can see create account and you can also see login. Now, what you do is this: as a new user, you don't have an account yet, so you don't need to go and log in. You go and create an account as a new user. Click on that create account button. Once you click on it, the next thing is put your phone number. Place in your phone number. You can see +234, then put your phone number, whatever your phone number is. If you don't have phone, you can use your mommy's phone number and put it there, right? Or your daddy's phone number. Use it and then you can proceed and create the account. So let's go. So once you create the account, you are putting your phone number. What happened? Put your name, your correct phone number, please. Put your name. If your name is John, what do you fill in there? John. And then your last name, Frank. Fill in John Frank. And what's your email address? Okay, if your email address is johnfrank3@gmail.com, you fill it there. And then your password, very important. You create your own password, 6 digits. You can use your phone number, the first 6 digits of your phone number, or the last 6 digits of your phone number. Or you can, okay, since your name is John Frank, you can say, okay, my password name is John, right? John 123. And then you go and repeat the same thing, confirm password. What will you type there? Your John what? 123. You can decide to view it to yes and then see whether you are doing the same thing, whether what you are doing is correct, right? All you have to do is just click the I button there and then you view it. And then come to select education. You are preparing for Jamb or Waec. In select education, there are 4 plans there. University, that's for people that are in university. Probably 100 level, 200 level, right? Yes, their classes are also there. Secondary, for those in secondary school, primary. But for Jamb and Waec, click Waec Jamb Pursue TME, right? As the select education. Select level. You are not preparing for Pursue TME, you are preparing for Jamb and Waec, right? Okay, click on the what? Jamb and what? Waec. And then create your account. 2 seconds. Plus, you don't enter. It will load and then it will open for you. And it will tell you, welcome, John, right? Your classes are now what? Ready. What do? Start learning.
Take note that the pH of the stomach is between 1.5 to 3.5. On a normal pH scale now, right? When you start from 1, you are going to 2, you are going to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? From 1 like this guy, 7 is what? Neutral. So if 7 is neutral, this is what? Acidic, right? Beautiful. From 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and what? 14, right? This guy like this is acidic. This guy like this is what? Alkaline. Are you getting it now? Alkaline. Anything 1, 2, 3, it is highly acidic. So the pH of the stomach is typically acidic. Why? It is between 1.5 to 3.5, so it is very, very acidic. So it's not that we are playing with it. That's why it is dilute hydrochloric acid. It's still strong. Sure, you get the point. Don't forget this very quickly. That acidic environment is maintained by what? Your dilute HCl that is secreted by the stomach lining, right? Beautiful. And also you must note this, that the low pH, right, the pH of the stomach that is between 1.5 to 3.5, what does it do? It assists in breaking down food, right? It kills harmful bacteria, and of course it activates digestive enzymes like your pepsin, because it is that dilute HCl that one acts on pepsinogen and convert pepsinogen straight into your pepsin. Does it make sense? Get that very fast. I beg you to note this with me very, very quickly. Please and please, you must note that the presence of food in the stomach, when food get to the stomach, what happens? It will stimulate the production of gastrin. What is gastrin? Gastrin is an hormone. You know, somebody may just hear gastrin and think that gastrin is an enzyme. What is gastrin? Gastrin is an hormone that stimulates continuous secretion of gastric juice. If you need gastric juice to keep pouring out, what ensures the secretion release, the continuous release of the gastric juice? It is called your gastrin. Gastrin is not an enzyme. Gastrin is an hormone. So is there difference between your hormones and your enzymes? Yes. What are hormones? Hormones are chemical substances produced in minute quantity in one part of the body, and they are transported to the point of action where they exert their specific purposes. We'll look at that in endocrinology, right? Endocrine system is different from your enzymes totally. As we move, you learn this thing. Gastrin is an hormone, not an enzyme. And gastrin as an hormone, it ensures the continuous secretion of your gastric juice. So it is the presence of food in the stomach that stimulates the release of your gastrin. Does it make sense? Are you sure? So if you get that very, very quickly with me, I beg you to never forget this and always remember this. Look at Jamb 1979, question 13. Which of these is not an enzyme? Jamb no dey play. Which of these is not an enzyme? Option A, pepsin. Pepsin, it's an enzyme. Where is pepsin coming from? Enzyme secreting glands of the stomach. We give out pepsinogen that will now be converted into pepsin. So pepsin is an enzyme. Option B says gastrin. Gastrin is hormone, not enzyme. Option C says amylase. Amylase is an enzyme. Option D says your chymotrypsin. Chymotrypsin, we're going to look at it. You have not gotten there yet. Your chymotrypsin is another enzyme on its own. So give me the one that is not enzyme there. Gastrin is not an enzyme. Sir, is it the one that ends with IN that is not enzyme that we will know? What about pepsin? It's ending with what? IN. Just know gastrin is not an enzyme. But majorly, anywhere you see things, anyway, is amylase, lipase, majorly they are all enzymes. Are you getting it now? Unless in some exceptions, but I'm going to show you as we move forward. Those are the answers from B is the correct answer here. Simple, easy, and direct. If you get this very quickly with me, please, the last part we are going to dwell on is called gastric juice. What is gastric juice? You see that stomach has a lot of questions. What is gastric juice? First and foremost, you must note two major things here. Of course, this is your mucosa. When they say gastric mucosa, you know what gastric mucosa is referring to, right? The lining of the stomach. So if I decide to tear a portion of the stomach, like somebody's stomach, you slice a portion of it, what will you see? You see exactly like this, right? Now, inside this, there are two things you should know there. Number one is called the gastric pit. What is it called? Gastric pit. Number two is called the gastric gland. So the gastric gland, right, is the one that will release the gastric juice. And as the gastric juice is coming from the gastric gland, it will come and pass through what? The gastric pits. So within the gastric mucosa are numerous pits. Those pits are called gastric pits. Those gastric pits, they lead into the gastric gland. It is the gastric gland that contains the gastric juice. So what is now that gastric juice? We'll see it together. First, you must note this with me. What is it, Sapi, that make up gastric juice? Gastric juice is a mixture of the enzyme from your enzyme secreting glands. What will they give rise to? Number one, your pepsinogen. Number two, your renin. Number three, your gastric lipase. So all of them are coming. Your mucus secreting glands, let's give rise to mucus. So mucus, number four, is part of it. And then your acid secreting gland, what will it give rise to? Dilute hydrochloric acid. So these five things together, they make up the gastric juice. What and what make up gastric juice? Your pepsinogen, your renin, your gastric lipase, your mucus, and dilute hydrochloric acid. They make up your gastric juice. So collectively, these five things, what do you call them? Gastric juice. Does it make sense? If you get that very fast with me, please, again, where is your gastric juice coming from? It is coming from the gastric glands. And it will now flow out through the where? Gastric pits. Does it make sense? Let's stop there. Let's not go deep. Hey, this is what they want us to know as far as Jamb And Waec is concerned. Okay, if you get that very fast, take note of this very quickly with me. That all the enzymes in the stomach, right? When do they work best? They work best during that rhythmic contraction of the stomach, when the stomach is carrying out twisting, turning, and all of that, right? Beautiful. When all of those turnings are occurring or taking place, that churning, when they are taking place, what will happen? The food in the stomach, right? It will be converted into like a cream, like something that is creamy, right? It is not too thick, it is not too light, right? Everything have mixed together, it is now creamy. That creamy acidic suspension is what we call your what? Your chyme. What is it called? It is called your what? Your chyme. What is chyme? It is the creamy acidic suspension. That food that is in the stomach that have been mixed together, everything mixed together with the gastric juice. What do you call it? It is called your chyme. Look at the past question A. Jamb 1985 question 17. The question is partially digested food ready to leave the stomach. What is it referred to as? Is it called your chyme, or you call it your cod, or you call it your glycogen, or you call it your paste? What is it called? It is called your what? Your chyme. Option what is the correct answer? It is not cod. That's why you see your ruminant animal chewing the cod. We'll get to ruminants. You see those things there. It is not your glycogen. We'll look at glycogen when we get to your pancreas. It is not your paste. What is the answer? Chyme. Option what? A. You are out of there. Does it make sense? If you get that very quickly with me, I beg you, take note. The mucus, right? They form protective layer. We have established it over the walls of the stomach. And because mucus form that protective layer, you know your mucus, where are they coming from? Follow me. Within the stomach are special cells. Those special cells are called goblet cells. The goblet cells, they release what is called your mucin. And your mucin form your slimy glycoproteins that you call your what? Your mucus. Right? Beautiful. I beg you. It is possible that mucus may not be there. So absence of the mucus, what will it result to? It will result to gastric ulcer. So if somebody has gastric ulcer, it is absence of that mucus, that slimy glycoprotein, right? So you can see what will now happen. That dilute HCl will begin to eat the walls of the stomach. And the person will start feeling sharp, severe pains. Those pains that the person is feeling in the stomach, it is your what? Your gastric ulcer. Sir. Yeah, now so, yes, so that's one of the major cause. In other words, your ulcer generally, right? There are different types of ulcer, but there's what we call your PUD, your peptic ulcer disease. Your peptic ulcer disease, they are divided into three. Number one is called your gastric ulcer. What is it called? Gastric ulcer. Number two is called your esophageal ulcer. Esophageal ulcer. Number three is called your duodenal ulcer. Duodenal ulcer. All these three together, they form what is called your peptic ulcer disease, right? Now listen carefully. Within the stomach, you know that the stomach has acidic contents. The acidic content, sometimes you just eat and you rush to go and sleep. That acid and that gastric juice, everything plus acid, they are acting on the food in the stomach. You are just eating, you just rush to go and lie down. As you lie down, it will be as if there is antiperistalsis taking place, where the food will move from the stomach back to the esophagus, and you feel some burning sensation around your esophagus, right? If it continues, it can result to what is called your esophageal ulcer. Yes. Why? It is that dilute HCl that is burning the esophagus, and esophagus does not have mucus that is even lining it. That's the worst part of it. Does it make sense? That's why I say that there is cardiac sphincter that is regulating whatever is going to leave the stomach to the gullet, or whatever leave the gullet to the stomach. Does it make sense? Beautiful. Now, what about your gastric ulcer? Gastric ulcer is a type of peptic ulcer disease that affects the stomach. When it's going to affect the duodenum, here is the duodenum. You know that here is the esophagus, here is the duodenum. When it going to affect the duodenum, what will it cause? It will cause duodenal ulcer. So all of the three together, they form PUD, peptic ulcer disease. There are different types of ulcers, but that's not the class for today. If you get this very quickly, you are very, very sure. I beg you, what is the function of the stomach? What are their functions? What do they do? Very easy, lovely, and direct. Number one function of the stomach is temporary food storage. What's number one? Temporary food storage. How? Don't forget that the stomach stores food for about 1 to 4 hours. Why that long? To allow or give time for proteins to begin to act on the food. Are you getting it now? If it is carbohydrate, digestion of carbohydrate start from the mouth. Yes. Where does digestion of carbohydrate start from? It starts from the mouth, salivary amylase. So your salivary amylase, right? It will act on your what? Your carbohydrates. It will break down the glycosidic linkages. Yes, in your what? Your carbohydrates. Are you getting it now? So digestion of carbohydrates start from the mouth, right? By the action of your what? Salivary amylase. Some people now say, sir, what about digestion of fat? Where does it start from? As we go to small intestine, I will show you, right? Oh, yes. But there is also what is called your lingual lipase. When we get to small intestine, I will explain it in detail. Digestion of proteins. Where does it start from? Your protein digestion starts from the stomach by the action of your pepsin. Are you getting it now? Beautiful. So again, what is the function of your stomach? Temporary storage of food. How many hours? 1 to 4 hours, depending on the type of food anyway, so that your proteins can have enough time, right, for enzymes to do what? Act on them. Number 2 function is fat melting. Your stomach helps to melt fat. How? Stomach is very, very hot. So the warmth of the stomach helps to do what? Melt fat. Does it make sense? Number 3, very, very quickly, is bacterial destruction. Of course, the stomach contains dilute hydrochloric acid. That dilute hydrochloric acid will destroy bacteria. Very, very easy. Any bacteria there, bam, we should just kill all of them. And of course, dilute hydrochloric acid can go and convert your pepsinogen into what? Pepsin, Abi. Yes, so that digestion of your protein can be what? Can be in progress. You get that very fast. What about number 4? Number 4 function of your stomach is food breakdown. Stomach will break down food by your churning. So the muscular contraction of your stomach, what is it called? It is called churning. So the churning action of the stomach will break down large food particles into smaller food particles so that they can be easily what? Digested. Are you getting it now? If you get that very, very quickly with me, please, I beg you to note this thing and never forget. You must always remember that even when the stomach is empty, muscular contraction continue, and that is what generates hunger sensation. So even if the stomach is empty, contraction of the stomach will keep on going, and it will signal and send message to the hypothalamus. Nervous system, we are coming there. We are going to be relating and tying all the different systems of the body together. Does it make sense? What's the hunger center of the body? The hunger center of the body is hypothalamus. You have eaten, you are full, your tummy want to tear. What will tell you that, oh, you don't chop belly full? Hypothalamus. If you guys very quickly with me, please answer this question. Jamb 1978 question 40. Look at the 6th question all the way. The question says the mammalian stomach can carry out a number of processes except the mammalian stomach will carry out a number of processes except what? Option A, absorption of glucose. Except absorption of glucose. No, stomach does not absorb glucose. Never. Option B says secretion of dilute hydrochloric acid. Yes, it will secrete hydrochloric acid. Option C says secretion of gastric juice. Yes, it will give gastric juice. Option D says churning of food. Yes, what's the answer? Absorption of what? Glucose. Option A is not it. If you get this very quickly with me, bro, guess what? Let's rock some past questions very well. Fire them down before we call it a day. Look at question 1 very fast. Jamb 1980 question 15. Should you see that we have treated 49 past questions like joke? Yeah, let's go. Jamb 1980 question 15. The question says, which of the following food substances is digested in the stomach? I gave it to you with style. Option A says carbohydrates. Option B says fat and oil. Option C says fat and proteins. Option D says protein. Digestion of carbohydrate begins from the mouth. What about fat? Right? Fat and oil. They begin from the mouth with style, but majorly, right? We are going to see the action in the what? In the small intestine. So how does fat and oil start from the mouth? There's what is called your lingual lipase. What is it called? Lingual lipase. Lingual lipase. There's one university that has it as pursuit to any question. Lingual lipase. It is an enzyme that is part of saliva. In addition to salivary amylase, there's also lingual lipase. Lingual lipase will act on your fat and oil, but mildly. Are you getting it now? So we can't take fat and oil as our answer to this question. Which of the following food substances is digested in the stomach? Fat and protein, no. This guy, no. Proteins, yes. digestion of proteins, right, starts majorly in the stomach, and it is completed to a greater extent in the what? In the stomach. How? Your body react on protein. You know that the enzyme that is secreted by the stomach is pepsinogen. Pepsinogen cannot just go direct and act on protein. It will be converted by dilute HCl into your pepsin. Pepsin will go and now act on what? Protein. So protein is the correct. If you sit in the what's the answer? Protein is the answer. Very easy and direct. Option D. Right? Again, don't forget this very quickly. I've said this again and again, that proteins are digested in the stomach by the action of your what? Your pepsin, right? Oh yes. And when we activate your pepsinogen into pepsin, it is dilute what? HCl. And you must not forget that carbohydrates are primarily digested in the mouth. Where will the process start from? In the mouth, right? And then small intestine, they will go to the small intestine and go and continue their digestion very, very well. Carbohydrates. So in small intestine, you will be hearing carbohydrates well. While fat and oil, it will start from the mouth little as lingual lipase, but it will be broken down fully in the what? Small intestine with the action of your what? Your bile, where it will emulsify fats. I will explain it when we get down there. Does it make sense? Look at another question, question 50. Jamb 1986, question 21. The question said the 3 important organs that are situated close to the stomach. What are they? Option A say kidney. Kidney is never near the stomach now. Kidney and stomach, they are far. Option B say liver. Liver is close to the stomach. Gallbladder is close to the stomach. Option C says pancreas. It is close to the stomach. Liver, yes. Kidney, wrong. This is wrong. Option C says your liver, yes, close. Kidney, wrong. Kidney, wrong. So because of kidney, they are wrong. Option D says gallbladder, yes. Pancreas, yes. Spleen, yes. What is the answer? Option D is the correct answer. Does it make sense? I'd like you not to forget this very quickly. Look at this diagram. This here is the liver. This here is your stomach. Right? Beautiful. So they are in the abdominal cavity. Now, this here is the what? Duodenum. This here is your what? Your gallbladder. And then this is your what? Your pancreas. This is your pancreas. Does it make sense? If you hear kidney is far away. It's a retroperitoneal organ. Man, no go far. This is your kidney. Urethra. This is your urethra. This is your what? Your bladder, right? This is your urethra. Tra is different from ta. So if you hear the word urethra, it is the one that will lead right from the bladder either to the pimpim, the male penis, right, or the to the female vagina, and then it is what? The urine there is released out of the body. So this year they majorly call it your KUB, kidney, urethra, bladder, urethra, and then bladder. Then this outside one is called the urethra. In excretory system, Sir Emmy, we explain the whole of it to you to the core. Does it make sense? If you get that very quickly with me, answer this question. Jamb 1988, question 20. The question says, which of the following will be first digested first if ingested at the same time? The one that will be digested first. Option A say cooked beans. Option B say cooked rice. Option C say cod liver oil. Option D say roasted beef. Yeah? So let's analyze them one by one. Option A say cooked beans. Cooked beans, that's your protein, right? So your protein, beans is protein. What about cooked rice? Rice, carbohydrates. So we are breaking them into their various classes so that we can analyze. What about cod liver oil? Cod liver oil, fat and oil. What about your roasted beef? Roasted beef, that's your protein. Let's look at the question again. Which of the following will be first digested if ingested at the same time? The one that the digestion will start first. Of course, salivary amylase, right, will act on what? Carbohydrate first. And break it down. Option B is the answer. Sir, you told us that about lingual lipase. Lingual lipase is just small, just thinking action, not major. Right? I just got it so that you know your lingual lipase. Beautiful. So what is the answer? Option B is the correct answer. Please don't forget this. Always note this, right? Very, very quickly. That cooked rice is primarily composed of what? Carbohydrates. And the addition of carbohydrates will start first compared to your protein, right? Which are your roasted beef and your cooked beans, as well as your fat and oil, right? And also, carbohydrate digestion will begin in the mouth, with what? Salivary amylase acting on it, and it will go and now continue in the small intestine, right? Making it easier and faster for the breakdown to move further very quickly. And don't forget this, that proteins and fats, they take longer time. Why? Because of their complex structure. So they need longer time to be broken down. That's the reason. Very simple, easy, and direct. If you get this very quickly with me, answer this question. Jamb 1994, question 16. The activity of taline from the mouth, right, is likely to decrease with an increase in the concentration of what? Option A says oxygen. Oxygen will not do anything there. Option B says starch. Option C says protein. Option D says acid. The activity of taline. When we stop the activity of taline, right, the salivary juice, what we stop the activity is when they get to the stomach. The acidity of the stomach, we stop it. Option what? D become the what? Correct answer. Very easy. I beg you not to forget this. Oh, let's remember, I've given it to you. Taline is the one we call your salivary amylase. Old name is taline, but what do we call it? Salivary amylase. It is an enzyme, right, that will break down your starch, which are the carbohydrates, into what? Simple sugar. And don't forget this, that the optimal pH in which all of these things act, right, the pH in which they act perfect is 6.5 to about 7.0. But you must know this, an increase in the acidic concentration of your stomach, what will it do? It will inhibit the activity of your taline. And as a result of that, what happened? That's why taline become inactive when they are in the acidic environment of the what? Stomach. Does it make sense? You get this and you are very, very sure. You are very, 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 very sure. You do it to the core. I'll see you in the next lesson, lesson 10. Ooh, I'm happy. That's everything about stomach. You see, stomach is very, very thick. A lot of things that we have looked at, past questions here and there. I'm sure all these things are inside of you. No, try me. I'll see you in lesson 10. And that is the stomach of your ruminant animals. I'll see you in that class. So then, peace out. Bye.
Hope you've enjoyed this class. Guess what? To follow up for more classes, just download the LearnLift app, whether on Play Store or App Store, and then follow up your classes. You must do extremely well. I'll see you in class. Bye-bye.